In high society, high society, high society, high society, high society.
Welcome to another edition of High Society. My name is David Malmalevine. I'm breaking the law right now, but not really, because the law isn't, well, it isn't that respected anymore. And neither is George Bush. If you haven't seen Fahrenheit 9/11, please go see it. It's a phenomena. And in light of the fact that everyone's kicking Bush these days, we at Pot TV thought we'd join in. But it's easy just to make fun of W as a moronic, pathological, psychological freak war profiteer. Not as many people know that his father and his grandfather and his great-grandfather were similar. They've been making money off the wars and the drug wars forever. So, in light of all that, we thought we'd kind of reveal to you another side of the Bush family, the Bush clan on drugs.
In 1907, Samuel Prescott Bush, W's great-grandfather, was elected president of Buckeye Steel Casting Company for his entire career. Sam supplied Wall Street with steel castings for their railroads. In 1918, Sam Bush was made director of the Facilities Division of the U.S. War Industries Board under its chairman Gerard Baruch and his assistant, the banker Clarence Dillon. It was here Bush clan learned how profitable war could be. Dillon would later help Sam's son get a job managing the coal mines at Auschwitz. Sam Bush was labeled a merchant of death in the years following the Great War, as investigations determined that the German army was largely armed by him.
Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches.
Prescott Sheldon Bush, Sam's son, was a Connecticut senator under the Eisenhower administration. What some people don't know about Prescott was that he was also working with the CIA in their MK Ultra LSD experiments at Bridgewater, Massachusetts.
I'm getting harmed. You tell me that until I show some improvement, yet each time you said until I show some improvement, I have been getting worse. Medication has harmed me.
Thank you, Doctor.
No, I'm... Just like that.
However, he was looking a lot more catatonic and depressed before, and sometimes we find that on the antidepressants, you remove the depression and you uncover the paranoid stuff, and we may have to give him larger quantities of tranquilizers.
The Pot TV show CIA on LSD in the High Society archive goes into the Bridgewater MK Ultra operation a little more in depth, but what was Prescott doing with CIA trust fund or slush fund? Well, Prescott was in military intelligence back in World War I in 1918, just after he got out of Yale. He was also involved in a certain secret society at Yale called Skull and Bones. It was kind of a death cult, kind of Masonic old boys club that had a little bit of recreation to it, but was also kind of a networking thing that also involved drug smuggling. back in the 1840s and 50s and 60s in the Opium Wars, the Russells were involved in that, and they set up Skull and Bones. So it was basically, they commit ritual practices involving grave robbery, and as the rumor goes, it was Prescott Bush who stole Geronimo's skull.
Rosenbaum believes that the Bush family may have been involved in one of the most notorious cases of grave robbing.
And one of my informants told me that, and this has been reported elsewhere as well, that one of the skulls in a glass aquarium-like case filled with turquoise chips is labeled the skull of Geronimo, the Apache warrior, because as it turns out, Prescott Bush, President George Bush's father, was stationed somewhere in Arizona near the burial ground of Geronimo at a time when the skull may have disappeared.
According to Rosenbaum, members of the Bush family even tried to return the skull.
As I understand it, the Apaches turned it down because they said, "We don't think this is the right skull."
Whatever else you may believe about Skull and Bones, it is a very influential network of rather conservative people, including Percy Rockefeller, and the Bushes and the Rockefellers go way back. But then there's Averell Harriman, who was one of the founders with Prescott Bush of Brown Brothers Harriman, a Nazi bank. He was also quite a high-ranking member of the American political system. And if you notice what the Brown Brothers Harriman were up to, they were managing the coal mines back at Auschwitz, back before the concentration camps were set up. They were managing them on behalf of an industrialist named Thyssen, Fritz Thyssen. And he was Hitler's main backer in the 1920s, along with Flick. And these German industrialists needed American capital in order to buy those Nazis their snazzy uniforms. So thanks to, in part, the Bush family, Adolf was able to convince enough industrialists to support him in the elections and get him enough support so that he could steal power when he had the opportunity. If that sounds familiar to us observers of American politics, it should. These are the same people after all. As well, it's interesting that the SS would pick as their insignia Skull and Bones. I wonder if they got it from their favorite American bankers. Anyway, these men were also involved in eugenics, supporting the science of racism and good genes, as the eugenicists like to call them, through large cash donations and supporting a network of researchers and theorists who later went on to become bigwigs in Nazi Germany and set up their race laws. So Prescott was busted for trading with the enemy and helping out the Nazis, but unlike Flick and the German industrialists, he got off with not so much as a finger wave and made a lot of money. Other bonesmen were Henry Stimson, Secretary of War during World War II, Robert Lovett, the mastermind behind the creation of the CIA, and let's see, who else was part of Skull and Bones here? We have, well, there's Prescott and sitting in the chair in the center there. Oh yes, Dick Helms was also a member of Skull and Bones. He was ran the CIA before George Bush did. And of course, Senior and Junior, also members of Skull and Bones. Now, apparently they have to create a certain amount of skulls and bones to fulfill their fraternal obligations. So 4 more years of George Bush will probably mean lots more skulls and bones on the planet. So you might want to rethink that and watch that Carey character too. He may have some obligations to his fraternity.